Back when Odyssey and Hi-Fi Man released their planar magnetic headphones, most headphone amps were geared towards high impedance and low current demand headphones from, say, Sennheiser and Beyerdynamic. And that was something of a problem, but now at the time that Oppo has released their PM1 planar magnetic headphones, there are a lot of amps out there geared towards the low sensitivity, high current demand, low impedance headphones such as the PM1s and of course Odyssey and Hi-Fi Man and others. But that hasn't stopped Oppo releasing their HA-1 headphone amp, and that's what I have here. It's based on the BD105 multimedia player, but with, in this case, more power and a few less features. But that doesn't mean it can't be a good centerpiece for your home theater system, because, for example, if I turn it around, you'll see that it has no less than 8 inputs. Analog inputs, single-ended and balanced, and digital inputs, AES EBU, which is a balanced version of SPDIF coaxial, and there's also optical input and a high-res USB DAC built in, based around the ESS Tech ES9018 chip, which will also accept DSD input, and last but not least, Bluetooth input. And that supports the aptX protocol, which works with some devices. It works with my iMac and other Macs, albeit not my iPhone or iPad. However, that's not a problem because they also provide a smartphone input on the front with a USB-A port, which works with iPhones and other iDevices as well. The interface of the HA-1 is very simple and straightforward. Switching the unit on, we have a status window showing the source, audio format, gain level and volume, and selecting the input is as simple as turning the source selector knob until the desired input is present. You can also select the input using the remote control, which has buttons for all of the inputs on the front, as well as volume, power control and a mute button. You can also dim the screen using the remote control, which is very handy if you are, say, listening at night and don't want a bright blue screen and bright blue LEDs shining in your room. Likewise, changing the settings is as simple as pressing the source button and selecting between the home screen desired, screen dimmer, which can also be selected again as you saw on the remote control, the mute operation, whether it mutes all outputs or just the preamp output, the headphone gain with a high or normal, and the home theater bypass, which switches between the unit being just a DAC or allows the volume control to control the preamp outputs. And you also saw the funky feature, the screen can either be status or a spectrum showing music playback, which I've got some music playing back through Bluetooth, so you can see that, or you can change it to analog style view meters, which I think is pretty neat. My only gripes with the unit is that I wish the text on the front, such as in the status view, were larger so that it could be easily seen, say sitting back on your sofa if you put it in your main system. But that far back you're going to have to squint a bit to see what all the settings are, especially with the view meters on. Likewise, the mute button is only available on the remote control. If your remote control runs out of batteries or you can't find it, you will not be able to use the mute function, and you'd have to unplug, say, your preamp outputs if you just wanted to use the headphone amp in such a case. So the critical question is sound quality. I plugged my Oppo into my main system using both its inbuilt DAC and preamp function and headphone amp function compared to respectively my Master 7, Accord Hugo and my ALO Audio Studio 6, which are all vastly more expensive components, and the Oppo did itself quite a good job. I've had ES9018 based DACs which have both been poorly implemented and well implemented. Poor implementations tend to sound very flat and unmusical. Good implementations tend to sound pretty good. And I have to say the Oppo is more towards the good implementation. While it's not going to compete with the Hugo or my Master 7 for detail resolution, it was still, the quality as a preamp or especially as a headphone amp was pretty good. The headphone amp was very effortless with everything from planers from Oppo's own PM1s to Odyssey LCD-X and XC and HD800s. The headphone drive sounded very easy and effortless, as if there was plenty of power in reserve. Compared to DACs, if I plug my Master 7 in directly into the HA-1, Switching between the inbuilt DAC and my Master 7, I found I couldn't notice as much difference between them, and obviously that suggests to me that the headphone amp, like the inbuilt DAC, isn't as resolving as was apparent with the ALO Audio Studio 6 or my active speakers. So overall, a very good sounding unit. It's not particularly remarkable sounding. I think a friend of mine, Anak-chan, on the Headfi forums, as well as other members such as Arno, suggested the word polite. But I would say for its $1,000 odd, it is a solid performer, solid all-round performer, very flexible, very easy to use, and generally good performing. And I would definitely say spot on in value. So once again, thank you for watching the video, and thanks to Oppo Digital Japan for lending me both the PM1 and HA-1, and I hoped you found this video to be of value, and I look forward to seeing you on Headfi.